and focus in, you're going to see that this right here is a really good potential Model 3 target. Why? Because it's the first significant swing high that was generated after the 930 dump, and we obviously have a ridiculous amount of inefficiencies above it. All right, it definitely would be valid to see something like this, right? That would be that kind of light bulb moment, blasting through these opposing up candles plus fair value gap. Wait for that retrace. I mean, this would be like a perfect world. All the stars align, right? We blast through with a light bulb displacement off that higher time frame sell side, smashing through up candles here and this fair value gap. We have a retrace before hitting the first short-term high, so it's generating even a smoother top, and then we get that expansion to Model 3 target, right? Take a step back and look at this right here. This is the bread and butter. This is what pays me every single week. So I am in on 2 accounts, guys. Okay, on that baby retrace, I am on 2 accounts. So yeah, this definitely should play out. Okay, to the Model 3 target specifically. Yeah, I'm literally gonna have like 40 handles at this high, so I will take a few micros off at this significant high right here. Okay, and then I'll hold the runner for 100 handles at 23,215. Everyone understand? All right, what is going on, everyone? I'm giving you guys a full in-depth review on how I made several thousands of dollars trading the NASDAQ, model number 3, classic, textbook, A+ model. What does that look like? How did I know that this move was going to happen? How did I have the confidence to pull the trigger with live funds? We're going to answer all those questions right now. So starting at the higher time frame, you guys saw the lower time frame execution, but what actually made this move significant and gave me the confidence is the higher time frame, right? So you can see, obviously, we're like in a really deep sell-off. The market's just been selling. And what a lot of people want to do is they want to FOMO in, okay? And I use that to my advantage. Whenever we're in a severe trending market and I can't find my footing to get short, I wait for a very specific phenomenon to pray against those who were actually FOMOing into the market, right? And putting their stops above specific highs that I'll get to in the lower time frame. But for now, I'm looking for one of 2 things. Every single high quality Model 3 starts with a higher time frame key level in the form of an old low or a fair value gap on the higher time frame. In this example here, we actually had both. This old low from the market, don't overcomplicate it. This is an old daily low in the market. Price came down, sweeps that low. All right, so at this point, I know we're severely oversold, right, with this move down. And then we tap into a higher time frame old low. I pull my Fibonacci tool from the low to the range high, okay? And what's happening here? This gave me the ultimate confidence to get on board with this long position. Look where we're closing relative to the optimal trend entry levels. 62 and 79% retracement levels. You can see the bodies close right above midpoint of that sweet spot in between 62 to 79% retracement of the range low to the range high. So the fact that we closed above that 79% retracement level, that gave me really, really good confidence, especially since we swept a key old daily low. All right, so now that we have that, I'm scaling down to the 15-minute chart. All right, and immediately what I'm looking at is the fact that we left behind not 1, but 2 significant large inefficiencies left behind, right? With this huge move down from 930, we have a large 15-minute gap here and a large 15-minute gap here. Those are inefficiencies in the market, right? And this kind of amplifies what I'm going to show you as a draw on liquidity, what I was targeting here today intraday. All right, so what's the narrative? We delivered a discount. We closed around the optimal trend entry levels on the higher time frame. We delivered that key old daily low. That's that key level, right? And we have multiple inefficiencies above and a premium that we can target. With all this said, we have all the context we could possibly need to find a time-based long model on the lower time frame. So let's dive into that right now. 5-minute chart. You're going to see that there was not a 5-minute retrace until right here, but that was already after we tagged the Model 3 target. So if we already tagged the Model 3 target and then we get a retrace, this retrace is going to be a lot lower quality, even though it did pan out today, once we already hit a significant target like this. All right, so we're not using the 5-minute chart. Let's go down to the 1-minute. All right, so 1-minute chart, what we're looking at here is very, very algorithmic signatures of price that pay me 90% of my income. Like literally the long setup that we're looking at right now pays me more than you guys can possibly imagine, more than any other phenomenon in the market. And it's very specifically because of how much it repeats, number one, and number two, how highly effective and how much of an edge it truly gives you in the market if you have the ability to wait for the setup. If you're FOMOing in, constantly taking, unsystematic trades and you can't wait for stuff like this, right? It doesn't even matter if you take this trade. You're just going to keep staying in the never-ending loop of making money, losing it, making money, giving it right back, all right? And you want to avoid that at all costs. So on the 1-minute chart here, we have our 930 opening, right? Severely oversold below that 930 opening price, all right? Until we meet this key level. What makes this tap into the higher time frame key level so significant, the move that happens off of it. Is this move sluggish, right? Is it wicking around, consolidating, just really being, tiptoeing? No. It's straight to the point, immediate light bulb sensation, smashes higher. And how many fair value gaps does it create when it runs higher? I see 1 and I see 2. So we have multiple fair value gaps created, all right, out of that key level. Now there's 2 things that actually amplify this as a true time-based move. Number 1, when did this move perform? Inside of your classic 1050 to 1110 macro. So we have so many high quality things aligning here. The key level, the macro, light bulb displacement, really highly effective and high probability opposing target. Everything coming together here. Now, what I'm about to show you here is how you find your model number 3 target. All I'm doing after the 930 opening range, I'm finding the first significant swing high that was formed. I'm taking that high, I'm taking it down to the reversal low, and I'm identifying the first old high that was formed in the premium of the range. Okay, whatever the first presented high is above equilibrium of this range, that's the model number 3 target. Boom. Bread and butter. It repeats every single week. It's never going to stop. You'll see it for yourself eventually. We have the light bulb displacement. Now what do I do? Granted, we didn't get the best retrace in the world, but with my conviction, I'm simply longing on that first retrace. Okay, I'm buying that. Where does my stop loss go? Same stop loss placement every single time. When we create the light bulb displacement, my stop loss is going to cover both of the fair value gaps that were created. So it's going to be below both fair value gaps, and we're going to target the Model 3 target. And as you can see, that was hit beautifully with almost basically zero drawdown, right? And there it is. Classic textbook model number 3 that you were just taught, all right? Now remember what I said earlier in the video. Remember this blue shaded area? Look at the Model 3 target here. That's an opposing buy-side liquidity pool where people that are shorting are trailing their buy stops above. That's what makes it a high-quality buy-side liquidity pool. There's real liquidity resting at this high. But what's above it? That 15-minute fair value gap. This blue shaded area. This amplifies this 1004 high as a draw on liquidity because we have an inefficiency that's going to work as a magnet right above it. There you go. Mic drop. We're done. The video's finished. This is classic textbook model number 3. This supplies me with an edge. Nothing about this was random. Okay, if I was taking randomized trades, I would have the most random results and I wouldn't even be able to rely on this to pay my bills. But that's just not the case. Nothing about this was random. This type of setup performs about 2 to 3 times per week, but the true superpower is being able to wait for it. Ask yourself, do you have the willpower? Do you have the discipline? Do you have the patience to make this model highly effective? Okay, because without that type of stuff, it doesn't even matter if you're able to identify this. You have to be able to wait for the setup. After all this time, all the concepts, learning all the PD arrays, learning all the ICT concepts in the library, just to realize that the greatest edge of them all was waiting.